Okay, I'm no longer in my car. I'm at the second floor of the house, and I'm just about to read Ready Player One by Ernest Cline, and I'm excited, right? Because I didn't get a chance to read it yesterday because it was the last evening that the intern that was staying over my house, well, not my house, but staying over my place. Um, it was the last evening, so we kind of had some beers and some pizza and things like that, just kind of unwind a little bit. So I didn't really get a chance to read the next portion of Ready Player One, and I intentionally did that because now if I just grab my notebook real quick, I should have just taken this thing out. Oh, it's right here. Took it out already. So I took all these notes, right? Because I was so into what was going on in the story that I had to write down these ideas. And the book kind of reads like a mystery. So, and on top of the fact that I knew some of the 80s pop references to the one of the main characters in the story. Um, excuse me, I'm forgetting now because I haven't looked at the book. Anyway, so the premise of the book, there's a lot of 80s pop culture references, and there's a reference, and this might be a spoiler, and I don't want to give it away for people, but if just you're curious and you just happen to stumble upon this video, that's what it is. That's what's going down. Um, so I'm on page 67, and the book goes on to a reference to the Tombs of Horror, which was a module for Dungeons and Dragons. And I ended up looking that up during lunchtime and stuff while I was at work because I was curious to find out once I woke up in the morning. I mean, I stood up till like 3 in the morning on Monday reading this book, but also taking out these notes. If you can see here, some notes on the story, some concepts. There's concepts of threes. So I've been putting together significance any putting anything down that I think are significant with the names, and then the different worlds like Incipio, Ludus, Greyhawk, and Gygax. Gygax was one of the creators of Dungeons and Dragons, and created that module. I believe he's one of the creators of Dungeons and Dragons, but he created that module, Tomb of Horrors. So there's a reference to that. But the interesting thing is, so a lot of people in the story go to Gygax to look for one of the clues. One of the clues or keys that would open up those secret doors to the fortune. Because it's like a big Easter egg hunt. But what I think, and what we're gonna find out in the next few pages or next couple of chapters, is that it's in Greyhawk. That's where it is. That's where people have to go to find where that key is, which is really cool. Which you know, because the setting of the Terror of Horrors is not necessarily um, Gygax is a person. Greyhawk is the place. So that's what I'm thinking the story is about, and I think they're going to reveal that. That's why I ended up stopping at 67. And on top of the fact that it was 3 o'clock in the morning when I should be going to bed so I can, crank out work and stuff like that. But I ended up waking up just excited, excited about reading this book and getting back on the wagon. So I'm definitely enjoying it, especially since the last video I didn't really know much about the story. And in the VR community, a lot of people talk about that book, and it's interesting because it's the time period of what I remember the most, or things that I really grew up and liked. So it was interesting. You read these things and you really get a visual of all these different movies, 80s references. Like I sent someone a reference to the movie Lady Hawk. It's like, what the heck? My parents had that video, so that movie on VHS. And then they have references like that, the Ataris, the VHS, the Betamax, and it's really cool. It's, you know, if it's not a story for younger people, it's definitely a story for people in my age group, in 30s, 40s, things like that. Because there's a lot of, you know, a lot of my friends play Dungeons and Dragons, and I think they really enjoy this book. I like it, on top of the fact of the really great concept that it has about virtual reality, and what is the great potential for it, but what is also the great dangers associated with abusing that type of technology. So it's a fascinating commentary on that technology, because hey, I'm into it and I think it's great. But the last time I actually sat down and played it hasn't been for a while. Hasn't been for a while. So I'm looking to get back on the wagon um, at some point soon. A little tired today. Got a few things done that I need to get done, and now I'm just gonna chillax. It's not a full chillaxing moment because I'm probably gonna take more notes about the book as it goes along. So it's taken me a little bit longer to read, but I'm thoroughly enjoying it. And sometimes, you know, part of the enjoyment of reading books is reading it the way you want, and progressing through it, because in a certain way, there's no wrong or right way to read. As long as you're reading, absorbing the material, and enjoying yourself, that's what it's all about. So that's what I gotta say. That was a little bit of rambling there, but it's super exciting. Um, it's a super exciting book. The movie's coming out next year. That's part of the reason too why I picked it up, because I do like virtual reality, but I also am interested in what the movie has to say. Maybe I don't even know much about Ernest Cline, except that this is his first book and it's supposed to be really good. It came out in 2011, so I'm kind of behind the curve as far as what's progressed through it. But it seems like he's had quite a bit of insight in virtual reality and has done his research. And yeah, it's amazing. It's an amazing journey to go through it. And it's been a while since I've read a book. Usually, a lot of materials I've been reading is more work related, so it's nice to kind of step away from that a little bit and then kind of get involved with these other types of stories that are just, you know, completely in the mind, and you have an idea of what the characters are feeling, what the characters are seeing, what they're smelling, and yeah, I like that. And I even looked up with the setting of where the story takes place. So I'm going to revisit that in the book and make sure that I have the location right, so that I can really build a mental map of what this place is like, and then how the author has really put it together. You know, like what does it look like now, and then what does it look like in the story? And it would be an interesting take on it. So I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, that was 10 minutes, almost 10 minutes of just rambling on about Ready Player One. But man, that's gonna be it. I really hope they don't fudge some of the great things about the story, like the main character. If oh man, they could totally mess that up if they do that wrong. And you'll know what I'm talking about when it if it's out there, and I'll definitely make a comment about it when the movie's out. Although the trailer is a little bit discouraging in that way for the main character, because crap, you know, I, I, in that way it would have been great if they kept to the spirit of the book with the main character. I know this video makes me look dark and foreboding. But anyway, that's it. I'm sitting on the couch. I'm gonna crush some pages here. I'm ready to do it. So that's it. That's the commentary of Ready Player One. I'll keep doing that right now. So far, I like it. I'm curious to know what happens throughout the story. This is gonna be really cool, and I can't wait. And it's getting me excited for trying out some games and applications, even right now for virtual reality. But on another note, finally got my RMA number for the bad RAM that I had in my computer, and I'm going to be able to send that. Didn't get a chance today, but I'm going to do it tomorrow. The the RMA number is good for 30 days, but I want to be able to get that out there, get my computer running, and just have a good time. Jeez, man, I've been having so many problems with computers and headsets and whatnot that it's about time, you know. And even then, I'm gonna have to wait at least a couple of weeks before they get the part, they get the RAM cards, and then I get a replacement RAM card back. So that's about it. All right, let's crush some pages. Peace.